Okay. All right. We're good to go. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the first brand building webinar. I always like webinars that I host to be very chill and very conversational because I feel like that's like the best way we can really be open about our challenges, and then hopefully you might get a solution like during this webinar when it's time for Q&A. Right. So, I'm gonna share my screen. I have a small slide that I prepared, a very interesting slide, because I did a lot of doodles on my slide. And we'll just run through the conversation, and then at the end, you guys can ask questions, and then I do have like a few announcements to make as well, and then we'll see how it goes from there. So officially, my name is Elishiba for the new faces that I'm seeing here. I'm the founder of Serifix, and I'm very passionate about branding in general, how people think of you or your business, how people interact with you. It's a very interesting, it's a very interesting, will I say industry? Very interesting thing to actually, dabble into. Because then again, it's also a bit strategic, and I also enjoy strategy. So we've been doing branding for different organizations for a while, and we're already seeing some results. So our goal generally basically is to help businesses and individuals to become globally known brands, right? So the webinar that we're having now is like the very first entry into achieving that goal, right? So feel free to ask questions. And also like you can also share like your experiences or challenges that you're facing in your business, and then I'll see if we can give some like tips for you and stuff. So I'll share my screen now. Oh, it's telling me I can't share my screen. That's weird. An error occurred while sharing screen. Okay, hold on. Oh, same thing. Joseph, please, do you have any solution for me? Still the same thing. Okay, hold on a minute. Let me join the call.
Solution for what? Solution for what?
It's telling me, sorry, an error occurred when screen sharing. Please try again.
Ah, oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, let me
Sorry.
rejoin the call. 1 minute. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, you can.
Okay. I hope it's not echoing. Sha.
I don't think it is.
Okay. All right. Let me share my screen now then. Hey. All right. There we go. Oh, I forgot to turn the setting back on. So that anyone can join in. All right. Esther, is my screen? My screen is up, right?
There's nothing showing on it, but it's showing that you're supposed to be presenting a screen. But there's nothing. I'm just seeing your image.
How about now?
Still the same thing.
Still the same
I don't know if
thing.
it's my network.
I can see your screen. If you go back,
I can see your screen too.
Okay.
Okay. It's visible now.
Yes, yes.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So, okay. So today's topic is on step-by-step process of building a bigger and better business brand. And it's step-by-step because we're actually going to do a walkthrough of the process. You know, like from the onset of you starting your business, or even if you started, right, and you're trying to enter into a new phase, you want to reach greater heights. What are the things you need to do first, right? Because branding is broad, it is very, very broad. And it's also intertwined with business strategy, marketing, sales. You know, there's just a lot of mix, right? So this is I hope my handwriting is clear, Sha. Let's just, but yeah, I did a lot of scribbles in my notes. So this is the plan for today. So we're going to first of all tackle who we are and what we've achieved. Then we tackle branding in clay. So we're going to look through two businesses, that a business and an individual that has, you know, successfully created a name for themselves. Then we're also going to do some understanding on what branding really is, right? Then we see how we can transition from our business strategy as entrepreneurs or public figures into a brand strategy. Then we also have a template that we've created for every one of us, which we're going to be sharing free. So I'm going to just do a just talk about the template and how that can help you guys. And then we also have a brand building training to talk about as well. Right. So that's the plan for today. So I've already said a little bit about Serifix at the beginning, but like I said, we exist to help to be the foundation for businesses and individuals to build their business and personal brand. Right. So we want to be able to see your names, you know, in media. We want to be able to, you know, want you to be like talk of town, and obviously all of that driving revenue and sales for your business, right? So we're more like long-term partners, which is why we have our community is going to be starting up after this webinar. So you most likely get emails from us down the line, right? So we're trying to build a community of entrepreneurs where we can kind of help ourselves and also we're like more of like long-term partners for you. And since we've been able to set up this journey, we've done that for about 10 businesses so far, and we're already seeing results with 2 of them, one being Tribe Lagos. They are really popular on Adjusted Street in VI, and their website is having a lot of traffic. Their social media as well has been growing. They launched in March, and as a business, they are getting like a lot of traffic. If you check their page, you see how lively their resto lounge, that's what they call it, resto lounge is, right? And Cardinal Counsel, that's a law firm. Actually, Serifix Lawyer, that's our law firm, basically, like the firm that we work with. And the founder, she's very personal brand driven. So she has like other ventures that stem from Cardinal Counsel, and she recently got recognized by United Nations, which is very nice. This is us, by the way, or part of us. So we're going to look at GTCO first of all. And when I was reading on GTCO, preparing for this class, it was very, very exciting. There are some things that I discovered that I didn't even know before, because I use GT Bank. That's my main commercial bank, aside from all the digital banks that exist, right? And when you walk into GT Bank, there's this song that always plays, something place to be song. Apparently, it was written by Asha, and they actually, so in their brand strategy, they obviously decided to work on a corporate song for GTCO. And instead of just picking any random musician to just write a song and sing, you know how they just hire a voiceover artist, they actually went to look for actual musicians that had the same tone of voice and the same feel that GT Bank wanted to have. So they chose Asha, and she wrote the song. The song is called The Place to Be. And when I heard the song, I was like, oh my God, this song I always hear when I enter GT Bank. So this is actually what happened. So GT Bank is GTCO rather, in this case now, right? They are called GTCO at the moment. I would explain what happened at that point. But focusing on the banking, which was like the first product that they have that's like really popular, right? There's a reason why Nigerians always mention them as like one of the top banks. And there's a microfinance bank on my area on Ipaja Road. Till today, I don't remember the name of that bank. When I was writing these notes, I tried as much as possible to remember because I have not passed there in a while. I was like, I have to remember this bank so that I can add it into my notes. Until now, I can't still remember the name of that bank. But I know that there's a microfinance bank on Ipaja Road because I've seen it before, right? So how exactly is GTCO being mentioned as a one of the top brands, right? Financial institutions in Nigeria. And I don't want you guys to think of it as, oh, I have to have big money to be able to achieve. Obviously, the more money you invest into your brand building, the more results, the faster the results will be, right? But it doesn't mean that you cannot achieve similar results on a smaller scale, right? So GTCO is known across Nigeria, even in Ghana, right? Their name is known in like some countries around Nigeria. What's the issue with being known like in your own local government area or your streets, right? So it doesn't have to be as big as GTCO, right? But the same principles apply. So first thing I'll talk about is their visuals. And I'm starting from their visuals because it's very eminent. When you think of GTCO, you remember the orange color, right? And how that came about was obviously when they did their color research and all of that, they chose orange as their color, mainly because orange gives warmth, and GT as a brand wanted to be a very welcoming place for individuals and especially entrepreneurs. So those are like their target customers, entrepreneurs. Their business banking is really great, right? And they also have other tools like SquadCo and Habari Pay that are created especially for entrepreneurs. So in order to appeal to those target audience, right, that's what influenced their choice of color. But they had a campaign when they like some years back that made the orange rule to become popular for them. So they had a campaign basically, and that campaign drive traffic to brand, and everybody started to recognize them with the orange color. And that's because they were consistent with that orange color. Like the shade of orange is even the exact same. Well, I'll say very, very close. That's because we're in Nigeria. We have some artisans that used to make mistakes. But like whenever you see an orange square, you definitely remember GT, right? So they doubled down on that. And then they call their core values the orange rules. That's what they call it. And you could see how they utilize that in their marketing campaigns every time. So like recently now, CBN said they should raise 50 billion naira to increase their base capital, because banks usually they have to have like base capital you have to have that to have a bank. So no, everybody else was obviously probably talking to some investors, doing this one, that one. And GTCO is like, you know what? We have a very large customer base. And our customer base has a lot of entrepreneurs, people in business that actually understand what it means to have, like to buy shares in a bank. They understand the value of that. So why don't we just open it up to them, right? And they literally took over the whole streets on, I think, on the island here. They took over a lot of streets on the island, did a lot of billboards everywhere. And they obviously took the concept of the orange, as you can see here, right? A slice of orange. To get a slice of GTCO's shares. Even in the app, when you open GT Bank app, you see it there. I saw the ad everywhere, right? So that's an example of a campaign. So what campaigns do is they help you to shape narratives bit by bit. So this is the second campaign that I'm seeing now that is focused on this orange color. So there's no way anybody will see orange and not remember GTCO, right? Then last thing here is social activities. Now, social activities are things that organizations should have to help them establish an emotional connection with their target customer. Because at the end of the day, human beings are we are emotional beings, right? Whether you are happy or sad, you are sure feeling something in every second. Like right now, I'm probably like 20% nervous and like 80% excited because I'm sharing knowledge with you guys. I'm feeling something at this moment. So it won't make sense for you to try to sell to a human being and you're like, I'm selling bed sheets, come and buy. In my mind, I'm like, who are you? Why exactly? What's my business with bed sheets? Even though I know that I use bed sheet too, but I'm like, you just came to me and said, come and buy bed sheets. What's in it for me? Like, what exactly are you trying to achieve? Right? A lot of things are going on in my head. Why not try to control what that person is thinking when I approach? So if someone tells me to buy bed sheet now, I should be able to say, I know what that person is going to say after I advertise to them, right? So social activities help to shape that narrative of your brand bit by bit. So GTCO has they have GT Fashion Weekend, they have GTCO Food and Drinks, and they have this autism conference that they usually have every year. I think they've had that for like 14 years now. Those are social or SDG activities that are sentimental. They hit like a specific type of or category of people. But if you notice, these people are also their target customers. Remember that GTCO has a lot of facilities for entrepreneurs. The more business owners they have, the more money they make. So if I host GT Fashion Weekend, there's no way fashion designers will not come to that event. There's no way if I have my stands with my sales reps in that event, advertising GT Bank to all the fashion people that come there, I will not see one or two customers, right? Instead of me trying to beg people and saying, please come and buy, I've created an avenue where human beings can be human beings. So I'm not directly selling to them, right? Same thing to with food and drinks. There are a lot of food businesses in Nigeria. Jesus, it's like as if everyone start business. I can do chin chin. I can do cake. Cake itself is even the worst. Every supermarket you go to, there's no way you not see cake. Whether it's affordable cake or expensive cake, or they're even putting most like Jendol, ShopRite. They now even have their own bakery, and they are making cakes. If you want to do birthday now, you don't need to call your best cake person. If you I forgot to, I need cake now. Just take a bus, go to one supermarket and pick a already made cake. So the food industry is very, very large in Nigeria. So it makes sense for them to create something that would appeal to those people. Right. So those are the key lessons from GTCO. So next person is, so for those of us who want to be popular, want to be known brands, right? I'm actually one of the people that aspire to be popular. Someone told me this week that I'm getting there. I feel like she's on this call. I don't know. I hope she is, because I can't see you guys yet. Let me see if I can see you guys for a second. Okay, I see you guys. I hope you guys can hear me. How about I've not lost you people? Let me know. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So you heard me saying that the easiest way to sell your business in today's time is if there's a person attached to it. right? So you find a lot of entrepreneurs building their personal brand. So whether you are building your personal brand to be the next $100, you want to be popular, or you're building your personal brand because you want to make impact, like Tony Elumelu, for example. His goal is not to be popular. He's making impact, and that's why he has this $5,000 grant thingy that he does every year, right? So, as a person, and it's very similar to when you're building a business brand. It's not different. It's just you're the main product, right, of this brand in quote. So everybody knows Tony Elumelu for the guy that does $5,000 grants every year. There's no way you not remember that if you mention Tony Elumelu, right? I didn't, when I first ever heard of him years ago, I didn't even know he was chairperson of UBA. I didn't know. And I found him on LinkedIn. That's his channel that he uses to reach people, right? And that's a very good position because a lot of entrepreneurs are on LinkedIn, and those are people that he's trying to help and impact, right? So the same thing too, he also uses social activities, right? And those social activities are there to make him a thought leader in his space, right? And 3 key things that he does is emotional connection, right? I'm sure if you receive $5,000, you know how it make you feel. There's no way you not tell your friends and your friends' friends, that next year we'll apply for this thing, you can make it too, Seraphics has done something similar. We did that this year for Women's Month. We gave out, it was obviously very little. Like I said, you don't have to spend $500. If you don't have $500, you don't have to give $500. At the beginning of this year, we gave 50K, but we also collaborated with other organizations that also wanted to make impact during that Women's Month. So we had a gadget store give ring lights there was a pitch competition. So the winner got the 50K, ring lights, access to some resources, like just a bunch of stuff, right? And that lady prayed for me for like a week. Like that's the kind of reaction that you want. If that lady now, God just helps her and gives her like 10 million naira in capital to, get her business off, who will she think of first when it comes to, I want to start marketing my business and stuff like that? A Seraphics that she will come to first, right? Because of that emotional connection that we have created between ourselves, right? And we're going to be having more webinars down the line. Also during the training, there will be like in-depth discussion of how to actually establish emotional connection, because not only through public activities, even one-on-one as well. There's so many ways you can connect to people on an emotional level, right? Then the needs of his audience. It's very, very evident that there's a funding problem in Nigeria, right? We have a lot of businesses with lack of funding. So it makes sense, meaning that the numbers are there. So it makes sense for him to, give out this funding every year, right? And then there's something about visuals. Now, if you notice for GTCO, the orange color stuck. Now for Tony, after a while, he just noticed that he has been wearing red tie, and everybody started recognizing with red tie. I don't know if you guys know Vusi. I can't remember his surname, but I think he's a South African or so. His own is teacup. For some reason, after like the first speaking engagement, he had second one, third one, he was always holding a teacup, and it became his trademark, right? If I anytime I see teacup, I remember Vusi. Anytime I see a red tie, I remember Tony. Even sometimes because I'm short-sighted, so if I don't wear my glasses, I can't see far. If I drop my phone on my bed and I see somebody wearing a red tie, I would think that it's him first. Before I go to my phone and say, who is this person? There's somebody else that he's like, I think he's a mentee to Tony. So he too also posts pictures of himself wearing suit and red tie on LinkedIn. I used to mix them up. I just think that he's the one at first glance. So there's something about visuals. So what visuals do in like brand building is it helps you to, how do I put it? The visuals are seen as like triggers. So your logo, your colors, and it's not the main thing. It's just a trigger to the main thing. So if you just focus on, oh, I like color purple, so I'm going to use color purple. What exactly is color purple doing to your target audience? Is it doing what you actually want them to do? And again, branding takes time. Because like I said, it's after like a couple of years before it finally sticks that, this red tie is synonymous to Tony Elumelu, right? So those are the key things that I noted down from him. So this is Tribe Lagos, our client. So I felt like I should also do this because this is a new business that started out. We started working with them last year and they launched March this year. So I felt like this would kind of be close to home, right? So the owner called, he actually found us on Google, on our website, our chats. So we had a short conversation and he said that they were about to do interior design for the space. And the idea they had in their head was like, they want the place to be very, as you can see this image of this group of people sitting down and like they're eating together. They wanted the space to be like I'm calling my group of friends. Oh, we are all feminists. Let's come and host a hangout. We'll eat, enjoy ourselves. That kind of experience. Not just, oh, I want to go and eat, I want to go on a date kind of restaurants, right? So in his head, he was like, I can't just do this thing the way everybody else does that. Oh, I'll just get one interior designer, I'll do this or do that one. So he said that he needed to brand the Retro Lounge so that people understood this narrative that they're trying to pass across, right? So, and then also their product was Afrofusion cuisine. So I think he's a foodie kind of person. So he was like, he wanted to create cuisine that was infusion with, so African food infusion with foods from other parts of the world. So in strategy, we combine those together. Also considering that the target audience are people who are very bubbly, extroverted people, people that actually want to go out and have fun. So in combining those two things together, right? Tribe Lagos is a meeting point for various tribes and groups to have a great time and experience Afrofusion cuisine. So this whole meeting point experience is what we now double down on, right? So the visuals were obviously communicating that. As you can see, the logo is tightly packed. The logo is tightly packed and it's quite just straight to the point, Tribe Lagos, right? So every single thing that we did communicated that, even down to the marketing. So now in marketing strategy, we recommended collaboration marketing. So what they do now is they collaborate with people who host events. So these people, they don't necessarily have a space to have the events, but then they host it in Tribe Lagos. And people that come to those events, is Tribe Lagos food that they're eating, right? So they have Taco Tuesdays for Mexican. So on Tuesdays, they eat Mexican food. They have happy hour on Monday to Thursdays. Then they have, there's one that they're doing now, House of Oni or something like that. So all these other brands, they collaborate with them, they post content on their page, and that's what's giving them traction, right? Because then if you are collaborating with people, then you are actually sending the message that you can come with your friends as well, right? So yeah, so that's for Tribe Lagos. Now there's this particular brand called Tropicana. And I want to actually use this to explain the negative effects of branding on your business. Now, because branding is, how do I put this? You know when they say you are being dragged on social media, or for some reason you do something on social media and everybody just remind. So maybe on social media you typed something wrongly, and for some reason everybody has not forgotten about it. It just became a viral thing and they are stuck with that. I think it happened to one governments, all these government people, all these government officials. He was on the news and he made a grammatical blunder. That thing is a meme on Twitter, right? So there are actually negative effects of branding, and that's when you don't go about it the right way, or you just do it anyhow because, oh, I mean, I can, right? And that's why you have brand strategists, you have branding companies, because those ones, they're able to actually see into that spectrum and help you out. But then again, mistakes can happen, which is why branding being negative is not necessarily a bad thing. Because now I know Tropicana because of this negative thing that happened to them. I'll still get to it. I didn't know Tropicana before that. It was when I was researching on negative effects of branding. That's when I saw Tropicana. And then I read about it and oh, there's a brand called Tropicana. And then I checked them out. So it's not as if it's like, oh, it's a bad thing. There are people that actually ride on negative PR for their brand. Like this, what's the name of this guy that critiques food? Hey, I forgot his name. Oh, he's very popular on Instagram. His name starts with O. He critiques food. Everybody's always dragging him for critiquing restaurants. He has had like this to a lot of restaurants, but he's still popular.
Okay.
People are still paying him money. That guy. People are still paying him money for sponsorship and kini. Do you get? Or like what's that name? The Guinness lady. Why am I forgetting people's names today? The chef that did Guinness. Hilda Basi. Hilda Basi had good and bad PR. Everybody now is saying that she did her body. While people are saying that she's a very good cook. All PR is good, is PR, Abi. But it's good for you to understand what the negative effects can be, because people that ride on negative PR, I beg, mental health also deal. If you know that you are not up for the task, then it's good to just avoid it, because there's a lot of, mental, people that can handle it, people that cannot. So for Tropicana, so there was like this, obviously Coca-Cola has, refined their logo, Pepsi has refined their logo, all these big brands, as time goes on, right? That's why there's rebrands. When time goes on, trends change, target market. So now we have Gen Zs. 5-10 years ago, how Coke was selling will not work now, right? So when those shifts in markets happen, you have to go back to the same way you go back to your business strategy and say, okay, there's a shift in the market. How do I adjust my products? It's the same way you would adjust your brand perception, right? How you're targeting your customers. So that's what happened in the case of Tropicana. So obviously, logos are becoming more simple. Everybody's doing one-line logos. Like Nat Geo Wild. Nat Geo Wild logo is a rectangle, little tiny stuff like that. So they're like, okay, let's also, upgrade. But I feel like one mistake that they made was I feel like maybe they would have definitely done customer research, but they maybe ignored it, right? So they changed their logo. Let me see if I can check on, so I can show you guys. Can see it's even coming up in search, failed rebrand. The worst rebrand in history. But this thing gave them traction, though they lost money, but so they changed their exactly. I don't know if you guys can see it well. Still doesn't want to post. Can you guys see my screen well? Trying to zoom it in. Okay.
Yeah.
So they changed their packaging from the one on the left to the one on the right. And I'll tell you guys what went wrong. So you see this one on the left, right? This design is timeless in the sense that people who buy pure natural orange juice, they want to see orange as per orange that I pluck from the tree. Because all the other people that are doing processed orange juices, what do they have on their package? It's literally what's on the right. Maybe some splashes of orange here and there, But this is their first packaging. It's the actual orange. And then so in the new packaging, they made the bottle cap to actually look like an orange. I think that's the only thing that they did in the new packaging that made sense, right? So when they did this shift, I think they lost about $30 million in sales. Their sales dropped. Because if you look at it on the shelf, I'm coming. Let's see if I can find exactly. Now imagine going to the shelf and you see this. Sorry, it's blurry. No, this is not a good example. Aha, perfect. See it here. See natural drink beside here. This Florida's natural. And see the new Tropicana packaging. For someone who is an organic person, which one will they pick first? Or will they even look at first? This one, they even have sliced the orange into half and it's looking juicy. So by the time they went into the shelves with the new packaging and everything, they lost a lot of their buyers because in their mind, they actually did an analysis after the rebrand failed. And this is what they said. They said when they spoke to their customers said that they thought that they changed their recipe, that they thought that it was not organic anymore, that's why they stopped buying it. Imagine that kind of mistake, because you literally just changed an actual orange to a glass of orange juice. And the orange is not now vibrant like the orange that you're seeing on the left. So it looks watered down. It looks like they actually processed it, added plenty water, changed some things, right? And then their beautiful looking logo that was actually simple enough. They could have just made it one color instead of maybe a gradient, right? They now put it horizontally. So I can't even really see the Tropicana well until I actually look and turn my head to the left. So yeah, they did an analysis after, and then that was what they found out, that that's the mistake that they made. So they reverted their packaging back and left the orange knob cover, right? So that's how very important it is in terms of branding, right? Now, branding can be used as a strategic business tool for positioning and increase sales. There's a store that I go to in my area, Jendol, and I was doing research for a food business, packaging design research. So I went to the shelf, I went to where like they sell like kilishi, packaged kilishi, chin, all that sort of stuff. And this particular one stood out to me, Gracia. And then during a program last week, I got to realize that her packaging is helping her to sell internationally. So, and her chin is what you find in airlines in Nigeria. Reason being because the chin is not white nylon and I slap a sticker on it. Let me show you guys. Yeah, this is Garcia, just in case you guys don't know. Right? So she was one of the first set of brands to actually start packaging Nigerian snacks like this after plantain chips. So that's that example. So what exactly is branding? After all of this back and forth things I've been saying, what exactly is branding, right? So I want us to follow the arrows, right? So from the human being to the shop and then the title text. So as a human being, you have a character. When they say, I don't like that girl's character, you have a character. You have a way you dress, right? You have a way. There's some people that I remember them because of their style. Like I'm just marveled. I'm like, wow, I just like the way this girl put this piece together. And that's why I like, because I'm a fashionable person, like I like fashion. So that's why I would appeal to that, right? So how do people think about me as a person? Do all my friends hate me? Do all my friends gossip about me? And then who are the people that I attract to myself? Am I attracting high net worth individuals? Am I attracting people that don't have sense? Am I attracting timid people, right? See these 4 things I listed out. It's the same exact thing for your business. So your character is equivalent to your brand persona. Your look and feel, your style, how you dress is equivalent to your brand's visuals. That's your brand look and feel. How you are perceived as a person. How do people talk about you? When you are not there in the room, what do they see? Is equivalent to your customer perception. And who people you attract, the kind of friends you easily connect with that you make, is equivalent to if you're able to attract the right customers as a business. That's the simplest ideology or expansion I can give for branding. It's very synonymous to you as a human being, right? So a brand is not a logo. A brand is not a promise. A brand is not a product. And it's not even an impression. A brand is a result. That's why I said earlier that branding takes time. It's not today that I craft my brand persona that everybody will now know me. No. And it's possible for me to even craft a persona now, and in the next 6 months, I'm like, I need to change up a few things because of the result that I'm seeing. So a brand is a result. And what is the result when it comes to customers interacting with you? It's how they feel about you, right? How they feel about your product, how they feel about your service, how they feel about your company. Are they happy? Are they satisfied? Are they excited? Do they want to tell all their friends, right? That is what a brand is, right? Everything from the company mission, logo, color palette, tone of voice, they are all tools used to communicate a brand. It is not the brand. That's why it's not the first thing that you do, right? So I wrote here that your brand is what people think of you, and shaping these thoughts takes a few ingredients and time. So we're going to go into the step by step now. I hope you guys are still with me. Let me know.
Yes, still here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Please, if you guys have
Yes.
questions, you can drop it in the chat as I'm talking. So I'll just go over the chat when I'm done. All right. So the ingredients for building a bigger and better brand. So I did this little map. Oh my God, my notes. Please ignore I just got a tablet and I'm still getting used to stylus and yeah, so please ignore. Thanks. So I divided it into 2 parts. You have the business strategy and the brand strategy, because at the end of the day, we're all here to do business, right? And first things first is you need to actually have what you are trying to sell. You need to have a product. You need to know what you're doing, right? So on the left here we have a pot. This my pot is marvelous, but this is a pot sharp and a plate on the right. So in the pot, we're going to mix some few things, and then we'll serve out the main dish on this plate. That's what we're going to do. So first things first, I like to call it the brand heart, right? You know how your heart is and your body. If your heart fails, everything will fail, Abi. If the heart has problem, some parts of the body will not function well. That's exactly what your vision, your mission, and your why is. Your why is also your purpose. So this thing is what drives everything that you do pertaining to your business, even down to things that are not related to branding, right? Product development, whatever it is. Now, this brand heart is what translates into your business strategy. So that's when you're like, okay, this is what I'm trying to achieve, right? This is my vision. I want to make impact. And please, this vision and mission is outside money. Nobody should go and write, say, my vision is to be the richest man in the world. That one, anyway. Well, except that the question is, how do you want to be rich? Abi, being the richest man in the world is not the main thing. So your vision has to, I always like to say that your vision should make impact one way or another, right? And your why should stem from your story as an individual, right? Your story. So when trying to craft this, anyway, as an agency, we always ask questions to our clients that makes them to think back to why they are like, what exactly made me to say I want to start Tribe Lagos? What happened to me? What was I thinking in my head? did I have a dream? Like for me now, my whole business escapade started from a dream I had in SS2. That's where it all started from. So where did this thing start from? I'm able to figure out why I'm passionate about this thing. And that's my why, which will help me to fine-tune my vision and mission as a business, right? Now, I now understand what I'm trying to achieve, but there's a tool that I need to achieve this vision, right? Which is where you now start thinking, oh, this is the product I want to sell. This is the business I want to have, these are the things that I'm going to do. So you break that down into your customer segments. That's the people that you're actually that are going to, get the blessings from what you're doing. Let me use that expression. And it's not just, oh, I'm targeting everybody, right? You are you're looking at people who actually need what you are offering. And then you segment them into categories, because it's also possible for you to target multiple segments, multiple customer segments. Like for Serifix now, we have funded startups and SMEs. These are two different customer segments. They operate and think differently, which is why we're having webinars, because an SME cannot pay us 10 million naira for branding. Tribe Lagos branding was like in that range. There's no SME that you see that is small business that just started that will pay that kind of money. So you can have multiple customer segments and shape your products to fit those segments. I don't want to do entrepreneurship talk today, but yeah. And then your business model, right? Business model is simple. How am I going to get my product to my customer, and how are they going to pay me money? Because at the end of the day, you need money to run the business. Then your core products and services. You are selling food, yes. What type of food? What's unique about that food? You actually sit down and craft these products, create this marvelous product that you want to sell. Then your competitors and your industry analysis. Who are the people that are currently serving the same people I'm serving, right? Even if they are not selling the same thing I'm selling, but they are serving the same people that I'm serving and solving the same problem, but in a different way. They're also like your competitors as well. Then in your industry, what are the standards that already exist? Like now, as an architect, you're not allowed to advertise. Like you can't put billboard. I'm sure you guys have noticed. Have you ever seen on the road billboard, architects for hire, with pictures of houses? Has anybody ever seen that before? Anybody? Or lawyers, lawyer for hire on billboard? Those are industry policies and standards. We're not allowed to advertise that way. So what are industry standards that would affect your PR, your marketing, and all of that, right? Then your pricing also is important. There's a difference between Zara and Louis Vuitton. Why? Louis Vuitton, the clothes, even if yes, maybe one was made with machine, one was made with hand, all are clothes. Why am I having to pay $5 million for a piece of a blazer, and then Zara is selling for $25? Right? But then their customer segments are different, and the way you think about these brands are different. If I'm going to a Louis Vuitton event, I must show my fashionista style. That's why I must look gang. But if Zara does a pop-up event, I can go with my Crocs and my, nice-looking casuals. So your pricing also affects how customers interact with you and think of you, right? You can even use pricing to chase away people that you don't want to serve. You can use pricing to chase away. Like there's this bar, right? They know that the rich guys come around that evening time, that like 8 p.m., 9 p.m. So they triple the price of their drinks so that the cheap people can go, so that they leave room for the rich guys that will come and spend money, right? Then your financial plan, because at the end of the day, like I said, brand building also obviously costs money. So you need to know what your financials are. Okay, this is actually how much I can put into building my brand. So you know the scale of the scale at which you would, and the pace at which you would take those steps. Right. So now I've mapped out a few things, and your customer segment directly affects your brand tagline, your value proposition, and your brand voice. Right. Value proposition in the sense that is that value that the customers are coming to experience. The voice in the sense that it is the customers you are speaking to. Right. Same thing to the tagline. Your business model directly affects your look and feel. Sorry, your positioning rather, not look and feel. Your business model and your core products directly affects your positioning. So if my products are for small business owners, I would be posting more on Instagram than LinkedIn. I'll be putting my brand more on Instagram than LinkedIn. If I'm serving CEOs, executives, I'll be putting my brand out more on LinkedIn, not Instagram, because what's Otedola looking for on Instagram except to go through means? When he's going on Instagram, he's not going there to be looking for one business deal or another. He's going there to relax. After he has finished working, he wants to relax. While small business owners, they are going there to look for customers, right? So those two directly affect your brand positioning. Then same thing with your competitor and industry analysis, your pricing as well. So those things would inform where you should place yourself in the market, where you should place your brand in the market, right? And for look and feel is pretty much the visual representation of everything else in your brand persona. Now, once you have this we call it a core identity. Once you have this core identity done, the next step is to now amplify this core identity. Now, this is where the scale happens. Now, if you have 20 million naira, you can blow in 2 months. If you have 50K, you can still make impact, right? And still get results. So that's where you start thinking of your messaging. So this thing that I have to sell, this narrative that I've created, how do I communicate it and say it to my customers that they would understand and resonate with it? That's your brand messaging. Then customer experience, not the one that you are finished saying that you are a friendly, easygoing, like in fact, it's a very simple product that you have. But then for me to take action on your product, I'm clicking like 50 buttons and I'm getting confused here and there, right? So your customer experience covers things like, oh, do I need a website? Do I need a virtual reality experience? There are some fashion brands now that if you go to like their pop-up store or something, and then you take your phone and you can see what you would look like in the clothes that they are selling, right? Is that the kind of people that like that kind of stuff, right? Are those kind of people that you're trying to target, right? Do I need that kind of thing in my customer experience? Your packaging. If I'm an influencer and I go out, I buy some makeup products, and as I'm leaving the store, they gave me a nice looking box, I'll be happy. In fact, nobody needs to even beg me and say, please, oh, come and help me to influence for this product. I will use this for Instagram story and say, you guys, I just went to the store. I just got this nice little product and I love the packaging. They open it and then it's nicely arranged, smells nice, everything. That's customer experience, right? So what are those key points that you can use to drive, this actually pinpoints those customer feelings, right? Then marketing. Marketing is a very big umbrella, but just see it as getting traffic into like your traffic, basically. I want 100 people to see my products. I want 5,000 people to see my products or my brand. How do I achieve those numbers? That's marketing. That's where I started thinking of, I want to run ads. I want to do an ad campaign. I shoot one marvelous looking video that tells one nice looking story. Like this brand Taylor. I don't know if you guys know Taylor. There's one of their ad campaigns that really, really, in fact, was so nice. So there was this one guy. He stood up from his bed. By the time he walked through the door, he's entering into another room that had another different set of furnitures, which was set up as like a workspace. He finished working. He stood up, entered the door, entered into another room, which was I think the kitchen or so. So they use that to tell the story of how all the furniture that Taylor makes has a place in your house, right? You can get everything you need from Taylor. That's marketing, right? Then media and PR is marketing, media, and PR. They're intertwined, right? Now, PR focuses on public narrative, right? So, like I said, now Okoyemi, he knows what he's doing by still doing this critique the way he does it, because he's getting a certain reaction from his audience. that is giving him a certain result that he wants. That's PR. So PR is simple public relations. So these customers now, right? We want to get a reaction out of them. Like we want to make them to do something. Do I want to make people angry that they make me go viral on Twitter? Right? Or do I want to make them feel so loved that they are just expressing gratitude, like the lady that kept praying for me for 1 week? Right? So that's PR. Now media focuses on channels like, oh, okay, am I doing a video? Am I doing more videos? Am I doing more magazines? Am I doing TVs? Okay, even though, well, if you are targeting Gen Z, please don't do TV or Edjo, because you don't have customer. Gen Z, we don't watch TV anymore. But if you are maybe targeting like very, very younger kids, oh, I might want to do like a kids YouTube channel. That's, what like form of media are you using to communicate this brand? Now, all of these things that I've mentioned here, these two things, brand persona and brand communication, you see how like they flow into each other, because all the decisions I'm making in terms of messaging, marketing, customer experience is fueled from the persona that I've created plus my business strategy. Now, I have planned out my messaging. I know what strategies I'm going to use. The next thing for you to do is to launch. Don't just go on Instagram and now start posting and saying, this is who I am. Hi guys. Let me use Serifix. I'm a company that, sets up the foundation for this thing. I just post that one once and that's it. Just like that. Nothing else. And everybody's like, okay. And they go their way and they continue what they are doing. So your brand launch is the first point of actually taking this brand that you have planned out to the public. It is a point for very deep customer analysis, because you have been doing this planning and all by research. You have now entered into the market. You want to test every single thing that you have put out in strategy, right? So that's where you hear things of launch campaign. Oh, I'm launching a new product, and instead of just posting on Instagram saying new products alert, I decide to host an event. I host an event. I invite some celebrity or some influencers to come, right? They should invite their followers, invite their people. We'll talk about the product, talk about the experience people have had with the product. If you do product testing, you'll be able to do that. And then give everybody a sample before they go. That's a brand launch. You don't just say, oh, new products alert on Instagram and that's it. And then you expect that people will be buying. So your brand launch is like the first point of contact with customers, this new brand you have created, right? To get them to interact, get them to respond. You now go back to your strategy and say, are they responding the way I wanted them to respond? What can I change? What can I tweak? Or what can I double down on as I move on? And that's where brand management comes in. So every month, when you consistently, now after you have launched your brand, maybe you did a 2-month launch, you have made all the noise, everything has now come down, you have sold out, right? You now start doing day-to-day interaction, posting content regularly. Then you have campaigns maybe every 3 months, like how GT Bank is having the food and drinks once every year. So GTCO has those 3 major ones every year. That's the food and drinks, fashion, and the autism one. 3 every year. So you too, what are those campaigns that I want to put out? They are like launches as well, but just something that is different from, oh, I'm selling lip gloss, I'm selling this, that you can do every 3 months, every 4 months. And then you keep analyzing your strategy, fine-tuning, changing a few things, updating the strategy, introducing new tactics. That's brand management. Woo, okay. So let me take a break. Let me come to you guys first. Wow. I'm trying to get the message chats. Okay. So I would like to know if we are understanding. You guys are understanding the process, the flow, how it works. Please let it be interactive. Everybody's muted. I beg. Okay, Princess raised her hand. Do you want to talk? You can unmute too.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this session. So interesting. So one of the things I made out was that our brand perception is what the customer thinks, not what we are saying we think, not we
Mm-hmm.
are saying we offer. So where how do we do this? Because we can't determine how the, at least from our own end, because we are not into branding.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we get them to perceive us as the best service for them?
Yeah. So, you've heard of customer analysis before, right? Or potential
Yes,
customer
I did.
analysis.
I listened to that. Thank you.
Exactly. The first thing you do is, if you're an existing business, you're even lucky because you already have data to work with. Just call your customers and have conversations with them, right? Obviously, you plan out what key questions. I'm sure you've heard of a survey as well. Key questions you want to ask to drive that conversation. Your goal is to understand how they're feeling, right? When it comes to interacting with your type of product. So, but don't make it, oh, question and answer. Oh, sorry, how do you feel about this? Let's be conversational, like how we're having a conversation here, right? Because when you have conversations, the person you are conversing with, they start to talk and say things. They keep talking and talking and talking, and you guys end up gisting. And a lot, you can just for like an hour, 30 minutes, and a lot of information that you need is inside that conversation that you had. So you remove them from that era of, oh, I'm feeling a survey, because if they feel a survey, you're not going to get the emotion, like you're not going to know how they're feeling, because that's what you're looking for. So when you have conversations, then you understand how they're feeling, right? So that's pretty much the first thing. So all people that you have served in the past, even if it was not officially, or you just know, maybe you have a bunch of friends that fit your target customer, or like people that need your products, right? You talk to those people. You could just be calling your friend one day and be like, it's true, I haven't thought of this idea. Oh, and I don't know, what do you think about it? If you were to actually use this kind of products, like what would you expect? And let the conversation flow. So that's kind of the first step. And like talk to like maybe 5, 10, 15 people. So you have an idea of uh you know where they are, what they are feeling at that moment, where they are at that moment, and then what you can now develop on for your own brand. Hope that
Wow,
helps.
thank you. Thank you. That's good.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Hmm. Do we have any more questions? I'm done with my teaching. Oh, I'm done. Oh. I hope I didn't mention that. Okay, Tuna.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Shiva. Good evening.
Good evening.
Um, so my question is, how long do you think it would take with an average person
Mm-hmm.
connecting with your brand?
Uh, 3 to 5 encounters. The first encounter, second one, the third one. At the third encounter, you should already start seeing that familiarity will come into play. Think of it as when you meet someone for the first time, how long does it take you to feel free with that person and start gisting? How long does it take you? The same thing, right? So that's why there's consistency. So people that like for personal brands, like post on social media, they say post consistently. Is because you're trying to build that familiarity with who you're speaking to. So the same way it is when you make a new friend, it's the same way it applies to your business, reaching like a group of people. So I'll say 3 to 5 encounters, right? So your first encounter can be like you guys now, your Princess here, first encounter this webinar. After this webinar was my second course of action for Princess, right? And at every point of contact, the feeling and everything is consistent, right? It's the same thing all through. By the time it gets to the fourth, the fifth, they start to get used to you. And then if you are very good with your customer experience, your product is actually solving a problem, they become brand loyalists. So they are the ones, and brand advocates. They're the ones that will go out to their friends and tell their friends, these products I'm using. It's very, very popular in the weight gain. People that go to the gym, people that sell slimming tea, the product now actually worked. They will carry it to their friends. I lost weight, to come and join me. So yeah.
All right. Second question. How do you stay consistent?
See, when you have a strategy, you will stay consistent. I actually had this issue for my personal brand because I've been having issue with consistency on my personal page, right? And it's funny because I've done strategy for other people. So one day I was like, let me do this thing for myself, for my personal brand. And after going through, I think Esther is my assistant, by the way, because I'm calling her name a lot. So I was talking to her this before this call, and I mentioned that I was planning my contents for October, and it was such a breeze. As far I didn't have to think too much because I already knew what I'm supposed to post in October because of from the strategy documents. I think should I show you guys a sample of what a strategy document looks like? I think I should.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hold on a minute. Let me get open. So in terms of consistency for you as a person, right? You want to first of all think to yourself, what is that one thing in the process that makes me stop? So for me, it was content planning, right? Because if I know what I'm supposed to create, my process of creating is faster. Because as a busy entrepreneur, I don't have 5 hours to be thinking of, So because, I don't know what to post, I just forget about it and move on. So what is that thing that is hindering you from being consistent? Then you now see how you can create a system that will make it easier for you. So this is my strategy. Victoria is not here, but Jemima is here, I think. Thank you guys once again. So they worked on it. So like I mentioned, brand heart, customer persona, competitive analysis. This is the brand persona, brand voice, messaging. These are my messaging pillars. So everything that I say online falls under these 3 pillars. Then visual identity, summary, and then this is like a full brand summary. So now my identity is crafted, my core identity. So now in terms of brand communication, that's where marketing starts. So that's putting your brand out there, right? So you have a segmentation of customer, you have your marketing channels here, social media platforms, social media, right? So content strategy. So it's from here that I started seeing clarity on what to post. So not to bore you guys, by the way, this is product development. Let me see. Okay, yes, perfect. So now this is so when you have a strategy document, it's possible for you to have that document and you just forget about it. So that's why you have to have an execution plan. So I don't know if you notice, but you see that every month has a theme: goal setting and new beginnings. February, growth and scaling. March, personal branding. April, operations. Now, I'm sure that when Victoria and Jemima did this, it probably did not occur to them that this was helpful for me. So when I saw it, it just clicked in my head that I could actually make my content to be centered around these themes every month. So because entrepreneurship is broad, that's why I talk about my personal page. Entrepreneurship is very broad, and I get confused as to what to share. So this is October. I'm so stuck on financial management. So all the content that I'll plan out will be on financial management. You can say I've reduced the thinking process for myself, and content planning is easier for me. So this is an example of a strategy document. This is quite detailed, but don't worry. Like I said, you guys get a template that would simplify it for everyone. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions? There's some voices I've not heard though, but it's cool. It's all right. Okay, so let's move on to the ending of the webinar. It's already 8:14. So like I've mentioned, there is I think I have to share my screen again. Yeah, there's a brand building template that we've created and pretty much has a bit of what I've explained and some other things. And it's fillable, so more like a workbook that you can read through, answer a few questions, and at least you would have clarity on your brand persona, right? So everyone is getting that template free. But to take it a step further is where we now have the brand building training. Now, this training is we kind of created this because of SMEs, small businesses. Because again, to pay an agency to work on strategy for you, we range between 6 to 10, right? But we're like, as a small business owner, because you're solo and you're not like some big company with like a board of directors and some large decision makers or people that actually help you to think and strategize. Because you have some businesses where there's the CEO who is a visionary, the person that comes up with the vision, and then the guys like, take this vision I have, takes it to the research and development department. Oh yeah, go and fine tune the products. And then research and development says, oh, I'm done with the product, and they take it to the branding and marketing team. Oh yeah, sell these products for me and push this brand. It's not like that for most of you guys. So you guys don't actually you guys actually have the liberty to sit down and come up with something for yourself that would work for the stage that you are in or you're at in your business. So that's where this training comes in. So the 15 days training is happening. Well, the plan is for it to happen in February next year, and it's only going to be open to 10 businesses. Reason being that every business is different, so we kind of want to make it tailored to each of these businesses. So you would have a Esther, can you help me drop the link in the chat? Just let me drop the link, the one I dropped on Discord. I hope she can hear me now. So you would have, first of all, have a call with either me or anybody else on the team. So we ask you a few questions, understand where you're at now, where you're trying to get to, right? And then if you are ready to actually go through this process, then you would kind of be brought on board, and it's 150, right? And with the way we have created it, you'll be able to, when it's time for you to do your analysis, go back to your strategy and work on it, you can still go on and do that yourself, right? And then if you start another business in the future, you can still use the same knowledge. It's the same thing. It's the same process, same principle that everybody uses, right? So the training is going to span across 15 days. And after those 15 days, we're going to actually also help you, like watch your, when you start to execute, would help you guys like, watch what you're doing, give comments, kind of like a consultation type thing for like at least next 3 months. That's also why it's limited to 10 people, because to do that, you can't take more than 10 at once. Yeah. So that's the brand training. So if anyone's interested, you guys can, the link should be in the chats by now, hopefully. Let me see. Oh. Esther left and joined. I'll drop the link when I stop sharing. So you guys can go through the link and book a time to call, to have a conversation. Right. So that's the end for me to you guys. Okay, Esther has dropped it. Thank you, Esther. So yeah, that's the link over there. So you guys get an email as well. So yeah, that's it for me to you guys. And I'm hoping, how do I put it now? I want to believe that you guys don't have any more questions, right? But I want to actually hear from you if you guys have learned something, because I want to be sure that I actually did justice. Okay. So I would like to hear from at least those of us who have not said anything before. If you have learned something, at least before we go. Just 1 or 2 people. Please don't be shy. Okay, Tochi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the section. I think it was enlightening. I mean, it was actually a good section, and I think you covered branding in detail. And for me, I learned about what the importance of branding really, because I'm not someone that well, I think everybody has a brand at the end of the day. I don't think you need
Mm-hmm.
to whether you intentionally create your brand or not, you have a brand, but it's something that is powerful and something that I should also be intentional about creating as well. So yeah, that's what I'm picking out of the section as well. Thank you.
That's lovely. That's actually a very good point. If you don't make an effort to, intentionally craft your brand, people would craft it for you, right? So those example is those guys that just randomly go viral on Twitter, and like they are now like, I don't want to be known for this. Like the guy that made a blunder on news. Yeah. So that's actually a very good point. Thank you, Tochi. Does anyone else want to say anything? Just one more person. Just one more person. Nobody else. Everybody's shy. Oh my gosh. Okay.